Most people who compare tech tend to give their final verdicts based on which device performs better. Usually it doesn't matter too much how a device looks as long as it works the best. And while I agree that performance is absolutely essential when it comes to something like this, that doesn't necessarily mean that the way an object looks or feels can't also factor into our buying decisions. A product's form not only impacts our own enjoyment of a product, but it can even influence its function either for the better or for the worse. Many times, form is typically looked at from three different perspectives: looks, size, and shape. And these things can often impact the way we feel about a product. Having a more generic form, for example, can make a product feel a bit more boring and utilitarian. The Sony XM4s, for example, were the last set of Sony's flagship headphones to use their traditional headphone design that they had used on previous generations, as well as other models. When the XM5s came out, however, Sony completely changed the design to one that was much more modern. While performance is definitely an important factor when selecting a product, visual changes like this can mean a lot to a consumer who's considering a purchase. More generic designs may mean there's more of a focus on performance, but if a company then begins to focus on looks, it can make the experience of owning it feel more gratifying because what you have not only works good, but it looks and feels good while doing so. And companies know this, which is why they tend to update their designs and color palettes with every new generation. Updated looks keep products feeling fresh. Doesn't matter if a design's been proven to work well for several generations, if it stays the same for too long, people are going to get bored. Even if people cover up their devices with cases, colors still matter to a lot of people because they know what's underneath the case. The choice they make is still a personal expression of themselves, so even if no one can really see it, at least you know you were able to choose your favorite color. But even though form has a lot of visual appeal, it can severely affect the way a device operates. Size, for example, often depends very much on the purpose of a device. A TV would naturally be large because it stays in one place and it's designed to easily view media. But a laptop at the same size just wouldn't be practical because laptops are designed to be portable. Similarly, smartphones the size of a laptop would also be completely impractical because they're meant to be kept in a pocket and used in one hand. This is why companies tend to offer different sizes to accommodate different people's needs. Small laptops, for example, work best for those who value portability. Bigger ones are made for those who are able and willing to sacrifice a bit of portability for the sake of screen real estate. Small tablets are designed for people that want something a little bit bigger and more capable than their phones, while bigger tablets work best as computer replacements. Examples like these really go to show just how much size can affect the use case of a product, from something as simple as portability to significant as its entire use case. But there are other ways that size can affect the way a device functions. Take the MacBook Pro, for example. For years, the MacBook Pro was designed to be a slimmer version of a portable professional computer, but that slimmer design impacted performance as there's just not enough room for a proper airflow or high-end components. For professionals who need as much power as possible in a portable package, this was absolutely not ideal, such as when Apple eventually made the MacBook Pro thicker to accommodate bigger batteries, better components, and improved airflow to make them more capable for production work. Similar to size, shape can affect the way a device operates depending on the person's needs and priorities. Going back to the earlier example of the XM4s versus the XM5s look more modern and classy, but it also meant that Sony had to ditch the ability to fold them down for travel since the new design prevented it. And this didn't sit well with users who use their headphones for travel since it made them less portable. Similarly, people initially complained when Apple switched to the classic boxy shape with the iPhone 12. The sharp edges made it feel less ergonomic than the rounded edges on the iPhones before. While the shape and size of a product may affect the way a product operates, the color can also have some positive or negative impacts that can change depending on the type of product. Typically, lighter colors do a much better job of hiding fingerprints and scratches, while darker colors are considered more sleek and sophisticated. On the current MacBook Airs, for example, the midnight color is known for being a fingerprint magnet, while the lighter colors do a much better job at hiding fingerprints. But whites can also yellow from things like body oils, while blacks are much more resistant to this. Materials are a similar situation, but they can also go further. While glossier materials are easier to smudge and scratch, matte colors tend to be more resistant, although some matte surfaces can also scratch easily. But going further, materials can greatly affect durability and usability of products. The AirPods Max, for example, are much more durable than other headphones due to their all-metal build. But comfort is still very much a hit or miss since their materials make them much heavier than the alternatives. Conversely, the Sony XM5s are much lighter and more comfortable thanks to their plastic build. but Sony headphones do have a history of breaking on people since the original 1000Xs. Overall, while function is absolutely an important factor when selecting a device, it never hurts to consider form as well. While there are many practical sides to form, it's fun to buy and use a device that looks nice, even if similar options are technically a bit better. At the end of the day, the best device to choose is the one that puts the biggest smile on your face. If good look and feel can do that, there's absolutely no shame in that. So this week's question I have for you guys is, out of the 4 aspects of form that I mentioned, which is the most important to you? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all around. Adios!